You all, and thank you for joining us today. Oops, sorry, there we go. And I need to know, maybe either in the chat or unmute yourself, who does not have a visa or visa appointment? Does anybody not have a visa or visa appointment? Okay, 2 do not have an appointment. Okay. That's where we'll have to have a chat about how you go about proceeding with getting that appointment. I don't know if it depends on the city you're in, or maybe others will be able to share toward the end how they were able to successfully get a visa and at which consulate. So we will talk about that a little bit later, hopefully during the question and answer. For those of you who have a visa or visa appointment, a visa or visa appointment, yes. I think what's important to consider is to look at what you need to do while you wait to arrive, okay? The first thing I want to do is, first I want to put this in the chat so that you all have it available, is our homepage. This will serve as the basis for much of what you will be looking up. For right now, you will be focusing on new students, and what's important is the undergraduate students and what you need to do. So part of that is the whole process for traveling. You have your I-20s. A couple of you still need to apply for your visa, and I know it's been very difficult, but I was thrilled to see that they had opened up visa slots, and a good number of you have the visa. What we would like to do is have you tell us about your travel plans or any problems with your visa appointments. What we will be doing is in the next few days is we will be updating this page so that if you want transportation from the airport to your destination within Tucson, we will be providing Lyft rides. So there'll be a form we'll need you to fill out so that then we can determine if we send you the Lyft code. We hope to have, or we will have, just still determining how late, we will be having U of A students at the airport with a table, a U of A table, welcoming you to the Tucson airport and then directing you to the Lyft ride and answering any questions. The main thing that we are most concerned about is when you arrive in Tucson, what is your plan for where you are going? And does that plan need to change based on what time you arrive? For instance, if you have a apartment and you have it, leased out, but you're arriving at 1 in the morning, you are not going to be able to get into your apartment complex at 1 in the morning. You need to plan or make an alternative arrangement, either at a hotel, probably near the apartment where you'll be staying, or maybe staying with a friend. But make sure that whatever time you are arriving in Tucson will work for where you are finally going to. So that is something that's important for you to think about. Once you enter the US, not until then we will have you do an orientation check-in. There's the orientation that you will do remotely before, whether you're here or not, the orientation is done remotely. There'll be a day where you will meet with our staff. We'll be going over immigration and adjustment issues. And there'll be a day where you are meeting, primarily discussing your academics, your enrollment, how all of that works, accessing your, what we call U-Access, your student record. So it's really a 2-day orientation. So you'll want to look at that. Make sure that you have done all the steps in your Next Steps Center. Okay, your Next Step Center is where you went to sort of the link to request your I-20. That's where you have the option if you are looking for on-campus housing, although it's full right now. So if you haven't already made arrangements for housing, you need to do that off campus right now. There's also the math and English placement test. You must do that at least 1 week before your academic orientation. That is so critical because all students have to do math, all students have to do English, no matter what. Doesn't matter what your major is, you will have to do some version of it. And unless you do the assessment, you cannot be placed in a course without doing the assessment. So in order to stay on track, you must get these 2 assessments done through Next Step Center 1 week prior to orientation. The other thing that you'll do through Next Step Center is your immunization records. There's a portal for you to upload. It's mandatory that you have your measles, mumps, and rubella. If you do not have it or is not accepted, the hold will be removed temporarily so that you will be given a schedule and you can get the vaccine once you arrive if you do not already have the vaccine. Know that as well, while COVID-19 vaccine is not mandatory at the time, the vaccine is available on campus once you arrive free of charge. So that will be available as well. You'll want to look at health insurance. So all international students will automatically be charged the university health insurance plan. It is very, very extensive insurance plan. I would say the most, to me, not being from the US, and Ludmila is not from the US either, I would say the US health system is the most challenging to negotiate because not everything is covered. You have insurance, but the kind of insurance will determine what gets covered. And I cannot overemphasize enough the importance of this health insurance. So while the health insurance, you will be automatically charged once you register for classes, what it covers is very extensive. The coverage begins August 16th, okay? If you arrive before August 16th, I so encourage you to consider getting additional insurance so that you have coverage prior to the 16th. And you can do that either on your own or you can go to the campus health and you can go to the early enrollment option where you can purchase an additional 2 weeks of insurance if you like, because you probably won't enter until August 1st. So you can purchase an additional 2 weeks of the health insurance. So that's something that I really encourage you to do. You'll want to look at accommodations. As I mentioned, on-campus housing is already full, but you'll want to look at off-campus housing if you don't already have housing. It's an incredible resource in terms of location, transportation to campus, how to read a lease agreement, because once you sign the lease, you are obligated to that lease. So some really good information. Once you arrive as well, we'll go back a little bit here, is check-in requirements. You will log into My Global and you will upload information, but only once you arrive, okay? Because it will include your I-94, your stamp into the US, and then you will also fill out contact information and your US address. So you will do all that through My Global once you've entered the US. If for some reason you cannot arrive, then you still need to do the check-in to tell us you are not arriving, okay? So check-in will be required, but since you're all planning on coming, do that after you arrive. Any questions so far about this very important page? And I'll ask Ludmila to monitor the chat part. The other thing that's important for our webpage in terms of arriving I'm going to go back to our main page, is this announcements page, okay? This is where we keep up information that changes regularly about arriving. I would say particularly regarding travel restrictions and testing required for entry into the US, okay? At least thank goodness, there is the travel restriction was lifted for individuals from India on an F1 visa if arriving August 1st or later. Okay, so there should not be an issue for you to enter the US after August 1st. So you'll want to look at this link regarding the national interest determination. This is where all the information will be kept up to date. The other one is the, let's see, it's easier to do it from here. Testing and required. The CDC, the Center for Disease Control, that's where they are updating that all the time regarding whether or not you need to be tested prior to boarding the plane and or once you arrive. So this announcements page is where everything is up to date, and we also date when it was last updated. Now this says January, but the CDC website, because it changes literally every week or every other week, we just keep that up so that you can access that information at all times. So that's the down and dirty of what you'll need to know or do coming to campus. Later on, once you get to campus, there'll be information for once you are here. I also encourage you to look at the Global Wildcat Guide. This is really important information regarding preparing yourself before you arrive, regarding academics, both for grad or undergrad, funding, housing and utilities, health and wellness. This is important information about local laws and safety, transportation, and engagement. Also, we'll be updating our programs and events page. We will be providing in-person and some remote activities. We really encourage you to get involved on campus. And so there'll be activities that our office will be conducting, and it'll be provided here. You will be added to our listserv, where every week we will be sending out announcements of programs that we are conducting. Some of them are limited in size, so it'll be first come, first serve. You will need to sign up. There'll be information about activities going on in the community at large so that you can participate in that as well. So remain engaged and informed.
Joanne, before we move, there was a question about vaccination. If those students who already received the COVAX, what are the requirements?
So COVID-19 is not a required vaccination to be on campus, okay? And so in terms of because there's so many different kinds of vaccines, that's something that we are working with Campus Health for students who have not received a vaccine that is approved by either the World Health Organization. And so if you want a different vaccine or an additional vaccine, that is something that you would need to discuss with Campus Health for them to work with you to assist if an additional shot, whether it's the Johnson & Johnson or Moderna or Pfizer, that type of thing. So you will need to discuss that with your healthcare provider, okay? And we hope to have more information updated closer to the time of the start of the semester.
Another question, sorry, Joanne, and another question was about I-94 form. There's, it looks like how to obtain it.
Okay, no, that's a good one. Let's go back to new undergrad. There we go. So once you enter the US, there's a link that you will open up. You will enter your passport information and your I-94 will come up. You will save it as a PDF on your phone, but you will want to print it out. When you enter the US, make sure that the I-20 that we've emailed you, that you have printed it out and that you have signed the bottom. Port of entry want to see the printout of the I-20 along with your passport. So make sure you carry both of those with you at the port of entry. Once you've entered the US, then you can come to this page and the link will be right here for you to download, print it out, and then keep that with your I-20. You will also want to save it, like I said, as a PDF, because you will need to upload that in My Global as part of the check-in requirement. If you forget where to go, the check-in itself will be on My Global, and there'll be a link within My Global to the I-94. So we have the I-94 link in a number of places. So I know my time is cut, but know that there are additional resources we'll go through during the global orientation to help support you both academically and adjusting to campus life.
Right. Thank you, Joanne. I'm sure it was a very informative talk. Students, we definitely would be taking more questions. Whenever you have more questions, don't forget to type it in the chat box. We'll be taking it towards the end of this presentation. So yeah, just leave it there. So Apurva, can you just please upload the presentation? Thank you. Yes,
can you
please.
see my screen, Anju?
Yes, very much. Yes. Can we just move to the next one? Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm sure by now a lot of your doubts that you've been asking both me and Apurva must have been cleared after Joanne's explanation and talk. So just very quickly, just few things that we will be talking in this presentation would be like, what do you need to do before you leave India? What needs to be packed? Of course, these are the very common questions we've been getting, a little about university and the city of Tucson and some hacks. And of course, Anuj and Kunal, who are our current students, would be available to share their experiences after my talk. And then we will be open the forum for questions and answers. So to start off, of course, if you, when we talk about the travel requirements, of course, you need to be having a negative COVID report. So do not forget to do that before you travel, at least, and if possible, of course, most of you I've been talking to have been vaccinated. So it's great, though it's not a requirement. So it's all right. Those of you who have done it, really great. Of course, the second important thing is check your accommodation confirmation. Of course, that's really important when you are landing and by when you will be getting your accommodation. And as Joanne said, that your accommodation would be available from a certain date. So make sure that you have some temporary arrangements done on your behalf. Check you have your health insurance. Of course, it's really important for you to have your health insurance before you land in the country. Make sure that you have booked your flights and of course prior check-ins, to ensure that you have a comfortable journey to US. So, you can choose your seats and things like that. So ensure that. And one important thing is, of course, a lot of airlines during these times offer discounts for students for extra baggages and things like that. So whichever flight you are taking, try to get in touch with the airlines to get clarification in terms of what are the dimensions of the bags which are allowed and how many bags can be taken and things like that. Make sure that your bags and that you're carrying are meeting the requirement which has been put together by the airlines. It's really important. And of course, in the regular times, it would have told you to go and meet your friends and relatives. But of course, during these times, it's best to e-meet them and say hi and bye-bye maybe before you're leaving. And of course, keep in touch definitely later. And of course, most importantly, again, I've been talking to quite a few of you and they're all like started packing their bags. So I know it takes a lot of time. So of course, our next slide will help you hopefully, pack your bags, properly. So next one, Apurva. And of course, during all the time, mask up, keep yourself safe, keep distance from others. Definitely, that's an advice we would always give you. So first of all, of course, when we talk about the documents that are needed to travel, of course, I'm sure all of you are very smart and you must have done a lot of research on what all needs to be taken. But very quickly, just to reiterate, Definitely carry your passport. Do not forget at any point. Of course, visas are there. Try to carry your original copies that you have, or the printouts of your I-20s, your admission letters, air tickets, of course, any original mark sheets that you've had of your high schools, immunization forms. So, of course, if you negative COVID report in these times is very, very important. So make sure that you have a printed copy of that. Of course, once you are there and you might be needing passport size photographs. So it's cheaper here. So why not get yourselves clicked and take some passport size photographs to carry along, which would be needed in the initial few days of the university life over there. And any specific letters like admit letters or any scholarship letters that you have, no harm in carrying the copies of those letters, service fee receipt. Mark sheets I've already told you, and of course, copy of your TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, whatever you have taken. It definitely makes sense to carry your originals, but of course, we always suggest you to take 2 to 3 printed copies of these documents as well, and make sure these are very, very important documents that you would be having. So we suggest you to carry it in your baggage and don't put it in the check-in luggage that you would be carrying. Next one, Apurva. Right. So now most important clothes, most important items, of course, related to your clothes, your accessories, what all needs to be taken. So very quick view on that. Of course, most of you would know, the clothes are definitely needed, but generally we suggest t-shirts or, shirts or dresses that you want to take. Maybe because there's no sort of dress code, because that's another question people ask, like, is there any dress code or anything in the university? Of course not, but of course you would like to be, dress smart all the time. So t-shirts, round neck, polo necks, jeans. For girls, dresses you can carry, formal shirts, trousers. And of course, normally for any particular, occasion wherein you are going for interviews later during the internships or any sort of projects, a formal suit is always needed. Maybe ties. And of course, when we talk about the weather in Tucson, the average weather, if I'm not wrong, is somewhere around, for the year, is about 28 degrees, right, centigrade. So you might not need jackets throughout the day, but of course throughout the year, but at certain point in time, you might need jacket or jumpers. If you want to carry, just maybe take or carry a set of these or hoodies, whatever you like wearing. Then track pants, swimming suit if you like to, swim around. We do have quite a few, swimming pools over there. One thing which is always very, very important is because, of course, it's a huge university you are going. And of course, most of the time students like to walk around and things like that. So a pair of good walking shoes and a formal shoes is something we would suggest you. Besides that, of course, your pair of undergarments, socks, handkerchiefs, few sets would be required because you do not want to do laundry all the time. So just keep that in mind. One traditional dress for festivals. I'm sure there Kunal and Anuj would be in a position to tell you a little more about what all is happening during Diwali or Holi time or any other Indian function. So it's always suggested to take one traditional dress from here or a couple of them if you like. Sunglasses, umbrella, if you can carry. Of course, everything is available out there, guys, but right, for initial days, you might not be very, very confident going out and shopping. So we suggest you taking at least one set of all these, maybe a sheet, pillow covers, light blankets for initial days. And as far as medicine is concerned, of course, if you are carrying something basic for headaches, pains and everything, of course, it is available on the counter here in the country. But if you're carrying something very, very specific, you need to carry your prescription because you can be asked, so you should be ready beforehand. Next one, please. Now, when we talk about the kitchen essentials, again, we've been, when we talk about the housing, most of the students would be on campus. And what I am aware of is that the students definitely can bring their own food, etc. But kitchen utensils are generally available to check out at all our front desks. And there is a communal kitchen in each dome as well. So you do not have to worry too much again, but if you want to carry something of your own, of course, Indian students, and when we talk about Indian cooking, you like to, maybe the quick one would be, cooking a pulao or rice dish or something like that. So cookers definitely come very, very handy. So you can take a 3 liter to 4 liter, cooker. as far as possible, get both the cooker and the pan that you're planning to probably, carry of the same brand, so that the interchange the gaskets and weights generally. A medium-sized karai or a small, pan that can be carried. Serving spoons, a small chopping board again, because again, it's not catered accommodation. You're going to accommodation where you would be required to cook on your own. So a glass or a tumbler, extra weights, a chapati roller if you like having, Indian chapatis, tea strainer, water bottle is always very important and should be handy wherever you're going. So do carry that or buy if you once you're there, but carrying it from here would definitely make a lot of sense. Now, I've been told, of course, there are a lot of Indian stores in Tucson. Again, our students will be telling you more about it. If you have any questions, leave it in terms of where to go to buy those. So if you wish, you can take some from here, and some ready-to-eat food initially for few days is always suggested. But as I said, everything is available in Tucson, so do not carry too much of it. Next one. In terms of electronic items, what needs to be packed, of course, if you all must be having a laptop, so you can definitely take a laptop or laptop charger. If you have a invoice for that, do not forget to carry that. If not, that shouldn't be a big problem, but it's suggested generally. And normally when we talk about these electronics items, they're pretty cheap in there. There are a lot of deals which keeps on coming. So if you do not have and you want to buy one, you can wait. If you can wait and go there and buy one. Cell phone, of course, USBs, power banks generally are, cheaper in India. So we suggest if you wish, you can just carry these power banks and USBs, but at least, make sure which flight or airline you are using and what exactly are their instructions in terms of carrying these. A good branded or decent wristwatch, I'm sure nowadays everything is available over the phone, but there's no harm in carrying or wearing one while you are, traveling. And of course, most importantly, initially for initial days and for later, probably Indian pin to use pin, the pin converters or adapters, as you call it, that is definitely a must have for you to carry when you are traveling to US. Next one, Apurva. In terms of bankings, and of course, there are quite a few banks which suggested, of course, you can just get to know more once you reach there. But normally the more important question which comes across is what sort of documents might be required if they, the students want to, open a bank account in the city. So of course, your passport is needed, your visa is there, your ID proof, probably if available in terms of your student card or CAT card that you'll be getting, or a driver's license is something which would be definitely required. Proof of university enrollment, and of course, seed money to open the bank account. It might vary from bank to bank. So might as well just check with the bank that you wanted to open the bank account if you wish. Next one, Apurva. Okay, now since we've talked about all this, I'm sure, again, this is something you already know, and this is when you choose a university, you choose a town as well for yourself, as they call it. So when we talk about Tucson is definitely a big city with a feel of a small town where people are very, very friendly, and they know, most of their, friends and relatives all over. So there's definitely everything for everyone, be it adventure or just chilling around or trying different cuisines with friends or immersing yourself in the cultural heritage. Tucson is one city which has everything to offer you. In terms of the population, of course, about 1 million. It's not like a very, very, huge number out there, but when we talk about how big the city is, it is Arizona's second largest city. The average temperature I've told you is about 28 degrees centigrade. So during the winters, it's quite pleasant. It's between 18 to 24. So that is the time when you will definitely enjoy Tucson even more. And it's also been ranked as the fun city, one of the best cities for outdoor living. If you are interested in doing adventure activities, biking or trekking, hiking, you will definitely have a lot of fun in this city. And of course, it has also been ranked in top 10 most bikeable large cities, as I said. So yeah, you will definitely have a great time biking in the city. Just to give you a little idea about the living, of course, Arizona is located near the heart of Tucson, so cost of living in Tucson is minus 3.2% lower than the national average. So before you finalize a university, you definitely look at what all, what sort of expenses would be there. So it would definitely come across as a very, very affordable city. And the cost of living compared to more bigger and popular cities like New York, Boston, Los Angeles, or Seattle is, as you can see, is definitely higher. New York, for example, is 86.4% higher. Boston is about 56%, LA 45.7% higher living cost, and Seattle is about 40%. So definitely is a very, very affordable city for your undergraduation. Again, most of you must have booked your housing on campus. That's a great, thing to know. We do have a wide variety of options available in terms of domes. We have about 23 domes, and most of them are 5 to 10 minutes away from the department. Most rooms are for doubles, but when we talk about the single occupancy that is available but are expensive. So generally, in terms of amenities, rooms include all furniture, utilities like water, electricity, gas, air conditioning, heating, and internet and Wi-Fi access. We do have meal plans available, and if you want, you can definitely go to the housing website and explore more about how to go about it. And of course, before your school starts, make your rent payments and everything. As I said, there are quite a few off-campus options available. We have shared the information in past on your WhatsApp groups as well, but if you need more information, feel free to go to the website to check out more. In terms of the choices for living on campus, in the academic year, August, of course, to May, close during winter break. Academic year and winter break, August to May, open during winter break, and summer housing for students also available attending the summer school. Next one, Apurva. Of course, those of you who are reaching a little early, we recommend, of course, there are quite a few resorts or hotels which are available in the area, and housing team suggest to visit this particular website, which is visittucson.org/visit/accommodations. You can find a lot of options through this particular website, but the University of Arizona Parents and Family Association generally recommends a couple of hotels as well. We asked, and they said downtown Clifton and Hotel McCoy are the ones. If you want, you can go ahead and book those for your temporary stay if you wish to. And of course, very important thing, guys, keep the date and time difference in mind, as we said, while landing, booking any sort of accommodation and flights. We are 12.5 hours ahead of Tucson, right? And again, let's talk a bit about the campus amenities. We have everything to those of you who are health freaks, gyms, campus athletics and recreation activities can be indulged in. We have free shuttle services, which are available for the students to use. Fourth Avenue, which could be, heaven for those who are looking at some sort of boutiques, bars, cafes, etc. Sunlink streetcar is available for the students who basically, can basically connect you with the Tucson and the University of Arizona main campus square. So just visit the website to get a little more information on the amenities part as well. We have 600 clubs and organizations. If you want, definitely that's the best way of connecting with people and making friends, and of course pursue your interest as well. So do check out those and find out how to go about it. Safety and security is definitely, again, while talking to a lot of parents, that is on top of their concerns list. So of course, you need to be alert all the time. We do have UA Alert. This is basically a free service that allows the registered users, including university students, faculty, etc., to receive emergency alerts to their cell phones or other mobile devices during a campus emergency. So we suggest you to register for this services, because this will definitely come handy, God forbid, if something happens, and then it would be the advice and help would be available for you all. Going on, of course, so there are some security. We do have CAT card, which is generally available for the students to access their rooms and things like that. But CAT card can also be used because it is sort of an identity card for yourself. So you can use CAT card for getting some discounts throughout and getting some sort of deals and accesses and everything. So again, we urge you and request you to visit the website to get more information. There's a lot of information available how to use and access your CAT cards later. In case of emergency, of course, you can, as I said, be in touch with the Safe Ride or call 911, and UAPD is always available for your help as well. Some security tips, of course, no matter where you are, you need to be alert. So move in groups after dark, no matter where you are, whether you're in the university or outside of it, it's always suggested. If leaving room, try to tell your friends, inform someone, carry CAT cards, cell phones if possible while you're going out, and never leave belongings unattended, and keep room locked if alone. Again, there's quite a few security tips which are available for you to have a look at in the university website. We do have quite a few on-campus dining options. Feel free to check those out, like Papa John's, Steak and Shake, Core, Chick-fil-A, Enrich, Urban Market, etc., and Panda Express if you're interested in having your food and meals on the campus. Right, finally, we are on the final slide. So some college hacks for you to be aware of course. When we talk about the first few weeks of school, that can be really hectic. So allow yourself enough time, expect the unexpected, as they say, it's to ensure that you have a good start in the college and are able to settle down on your own. We have few hacks available for you. So first of all, of course, take charge of your life. Remember, you are not a teenager anymore in the protective environment of your home and away from your parents. So you need to be responsible adults. So take charge of your life ahead, at least try. Check your emails once you're in the university, because all the information that has been sent to the students come to your inboxes. So just keep yourself updated, be responsible for your own actions, be alert, keep your eyes and ears open, as we say it. And of course, if you have any issues, because we are a huge university, of course, if you need some help, you need to go and ask someone. And I'm sure a lot of help would be available in the university for yourself. Figure out the best way to learn and stick to it. You definitely need to take your studies seriously. So of course, find out what exactly you enjoy doing more in terms of, learning. Try to protect your GPA, because once you're on your own, you will definitely be attracted to a lot of things. Of course, we do not, want to deviate from studies, but at the same time, make sure that you're having enough fun while in the university, but make sure that you have, good GPA, because everything, depends on that in terms of your future, your internships, your jobs. So just have a consistent academic, performance throughout. This is really, really important. In terms of course, traveling, of course, no car, no problem. That basically means that we do have, cycle shuttles and cars for your personal use. So if you want, check out CAT Train, free campus shuttle. Car Wheels is also a bike sharing program. So go ahead and do that. And we've been talking and got to know that the transportation, when we talk about public transportation for students, is free as of now, but there could be, need of passes probably, after a few months. Find freebies, save money. Of course, CAT card can get you quite a few, discounts in the university, be it meal plans, or if you go to bookstores and things like that. So just find out. That definitely is a good way of saving money in a student life. Don't wait to look for job internships or research opportunities. Our student engagement and career development cell is very, very handy when it comes to finding part-time jobs. For example, Handshake, I've been told, is a really, really useful portal for you all to find such opportunities and start immediately. And sometimes one thing which everyone asks is whether it is needed to sort of take up an internship without any stipend. So my suggestion is always is that, of course, sometimes you need to take up an internship for experience as well. So do not do not always run after money, but if the job is good, the profile is good, it definitely makes a lot of sense to, take up those jobs for experience sake as well at times. So now that your money is managed, don't forget to manage your relationship. Be in touch with your parents. Of course, you need to remember that you're away from them. So just try to maintain, keep in touch with your parents and your friends. But at the same time, make sure that you are expanding your network within the university as well, because that is definitely important, because this Tucson and the University of Arizona would be, a home away from your home. So make sure you make a lot of good friends and just, enjoy your life over there. And ultimately, of course, remember, you are not in this alone. You definitely, everyone who is going in the same boat. So you just need to be open about your experiences. And if you need help, as we said, the help is always available, and all you need to do is ask for it. So guys, with this, very quickly, we will just show you some of the resources for our Wildcats. If you wanted to get some more information, we do have a YouTube channel. The pre-arrival information can be found at this particular links. You can take a screenshot, and of course we will be sharing the recording of this video, this particular session later as well. So don't worry if you can't. We do have Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp as well. So feel free to connect with the universities through these links or these handles. And of course, as always, me and Apurva are available. So reach out to us if you have more questions about anything. So thanks for your attention. And very quickly, I will now invite Anuj and Kunal to share their experiences, and then we will be taking all the questions. Anuj, would you like to start first? You'll have 2 minutes, and Kunal, please, you can carry on after that. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it okay?
It's all good.
I mean, it's pretty good. Like my experience would be drastically different from what like Kunal has experienced, because I came in like the pandemic time, so most of the stuff were like closed down. So in the start it was kind of lonely, but like I was able to get my own Indian social group, and that would I would recommend really to like build your own social group, and like not to worry too much about it, like, oh, am I getting American friends, am I getting foreigner friends, or I'm only making Indian friends. Please don't worry about that stuff in the beginning. Just make any friends that you can, especially like even if they're Indians, that's actually pretty good. So now I have a pretty strong Indian social group, and I feel like really comfortable and safe now here in Tucson. So it has been a pretty decent experience for me. I have experienced some ups and downs, but overall I would say it was good.
That's great to hear, Anuj. Thanks a lot for sharing. Kunal, would you like to go now?
Yes, for sure. My experience, must be drastically different. I came here in fall of 2019 from Mumbai. Initially, my thought process behind coming to Arizona was just the scholarship, but since then it has translated into much more. I always knew I wanted to do finance, so I was pretty focused from a subject matter standpoint. I didn't realize what I was getting into from an external standpoint, which I think would be a surprise to all of you in a very good way. You'll get to grow your social circle regardless of where you are, just like I did. Of course, experiences vary, and nobody could have predicted what happened in March of 2020, and it changes, and it's very customized for everyone. But that's the good part about it, is you get to grow over the process. And then aside of the academic standpoint, you'll get to learn that there's much more to do. In Tucson, there's friends to make, there's places to go, and there's things to experience. So I'd recommend making sure that you're part of every single opportunity that you can experience from that standpoint as well. And other than that, I'm sure you guys will get to craft your own journeys once you're here.
That's great, Kunal. Thanks a lot for sharing your views and experience. Really good to hear you guys. Now over to Apurva. Apurva, would you like to take questions from the students for Joanne and all the students? Thank you.
Thanks, Anju. So I'm going to read out a couple of questions that are posted in the chat box, and alternatively, Joanne, Ludmila, and of course, Anuj and Kunal can take this up. We've already addressed the question about Covaxin, in India. I think Joanne has already addressed that, if I'm not wrong. The next question is, somebody wants to know more information about the I-94 form and its proceedings.
Apurva, I think that was answered already by Joanne initially.
Okay.
Would you like to
let's move on to the next one. Someone wants to know that they've opted for an on-campus housing, and the pre-arrival check-in requirement on the My UA home portal requires us to select a move-in time. The only move-in times available are before my arrival time. What can I do in this case?
To that as well. For residence life or dorms, if you're arriving outside of the check-in times, depending how much outside of the time, is it an hour out or are you arriving at midnight? If it's really late, it would be really hard for them to accommodate, to do a special accommodation. So you might probably have to consider getting a hotel for the first night that you arrive. But you can check with Residence Life directly to see if there is any accommodation. Otherwise, there are a few hotels right on campus. There's one, well, there's the Marriott, of course, that'll be more expensive. I don't know what the cost is, but there's a brand new one called The Graduate. I think they have overnight housing. And then right at the edge of campus is the Loft, A Loft. Yeah, A Loft. And those are the ones nearest campus. So you could look at those. And there are other ones, of course. So you can Google for hotels near campus to spend the first night, and then you'll need to make arrangements to get there the next day.
Thank you, Joanne, for elaborating it again. The next question is, the student is looking to join the spring intake. By when can I apply for I-20, considering I'll be joining in spring and want to obtain F1 visa at the earliest?
So I had mentioned in my response, I don't know if it was to all or direct, right now we're still going to be focusing on fall I-20 issuance. That has to take priority, as there's still some opportunities for some students to still get a visa at this late date. So we're focusing on fall. The soonest anybody can apply for a visa is 120 days prior to the start of the semester. So since January will be, I think like January 12th, something like that. So December, November, October, September. So mid-September is the earliest you could apply for a visa to come in the spring. And so since we are still emailing I-20s, I would say, maybe wait until next month to request an I-20 for spring, because we probably won't get to it until we get through all of the fall ones, since you can't apply for a visa sooner than mid-February anyway. I'm sorry, mid-September. Where did February come from? I have no idea.
After January.
It's September. It's the
Yeah.
soonest, or January 2022.
Okay, great. So we have another student who wants to know that he's arriving at the campus on the 16th of August, but he has not received confirmation from the on-campus housing department. So what is the way forward? How can he ensure that he has the place at the dorm?
We'll need to contact ResLife directly. I don't know where they are with placement or assignment. I do know that campus housing is full. And so because they are full, they're probably a little behind with the assignment, but I would contact ResLife directly to find out when the assignment will be made. But as long as you have paid the deposit, there's little doubt that you will get a space, but do find out so that you know which dorm, because it's a good sized campus. So you don't want to get, dropped off on one side only to haul all your stuff to the other side of campus. So definitely check with Residence Life on your assignment.
Thanks, Joanne. Is there a check-in process for students who are starting online?
Yes, so you would still go to myglobal.arizona.edu, and there's orientation and check-in. And so you would still do orientation, because if you're part of that is clarifying admitted to main campus taking online courses versus admitted to online, UA online. If it's UA online has their own orientation and check-in requirement. For us, if it's main campus that you're admitted to and you plan to take all of your courses online, however many courses that is, you still need to check in so that then we either defer your I-20, not worry about issuing you an I-20, but you still need to attend the orientation to attend main campus, even if you plan to do so remotely.
Okay, so there is another question. We've probably already taken this. What would be the dorm check-in process for students who are traveling from India?
What would be the what?
What would be the dorm check-in process for students who are traveling from India?
Okay, I answered that one as well. Need to check with Residence Life directly on what they need or require. I've not seen anything specific outlined on that. So,
And John, on the website at Res Life, they have a step-by-step move-in process. So if you go to the link, you will be able to find information of what you need to do, and it just pretty much step-by-step explaining the move-in process and the dates when you can move in.
so that applies to everybody. I don't know, was there a specific question about being from India, different from regular move-in process? Whoever asked the question?
Okay, yeah, somebody asked particularly from India, but I think we've covered this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
so the next question is, would somebody be required to attend the orientation if he or she is joining the sophomore?
Yeah, so even as a sophomore, whether you're freshman or transfer, so sophomore is transfer, there's still an orientation, both in terms of needing to attend for immigration and check-in requirements and the academic department. If you do not attend orientation, you will, especially with the department, they won't put you in a class. So you need to discuss with them what's transferable, what courses you should take, have you met the prerequisites? It's really important that you attend orientation, regardless of freshman, non-degree, sophomore, transfer. You have to connect with the academic department. And then also with our office, the global orientation, because of immigration, we're going to be placing holds left and right if you do not check in with us because of the requirements for reporting and enrollment. So it's required of all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question is about the meal services. Somebody wants to know what are the options that are offered. You know, he's looking at something healthy, and would the meal plans, exist if he arrives early on the campus? For example, if he's arriving on the 7th of August, will he still be able to avail the services?
Okay, so right now, the university is on summer mode, meaning that not all places are open, or if they are open, limited hours. But right off campus, right on University Boulevard, are other restaurants that students frequent. And then there is you can go down to 4th Avenue, but university and on campus will be available on a limited basis, but I would plan to go on University Boulevard for that. In terms of a meal plan, that's something you'll want to look at. We don't have, so the way that it works is it's not a cafeteria style in the dorm. It's essentially different eateries throughout campus for the meal plan. So that's where you'll be eating if you're living in the dorms, whether it's on campus or off campus. Our office is located in the Global Center. It is going to undergo renovations with new food options, right? I don't know when all of this is happening, but it's starting this fall. So there'll be, there'll be a food truck with Vietnamese food. Barbecue is on University Boulevard, but they will be coming to Global Campus as well. There will be a Chinese noodle place, Noodleholics, I think will be coming to the Global Center. We're looking for some various more international food flair in the Global Center. And the market that was in there was pretty traditional, junk food market, but the renovation will be an international food market in the Global Center. So lots of renovations in the Global Center, but the main student union will have most of the restaurants available to you, especially during the fall semester. Maybe Kunal or Anuj, will you have insight on food or where to eat near campus?
Whenever I feel homesick, I either opt for barbecue or Shere Punjab, which are close to campus. But other than that, for the first year, I think I had a meal plan, so I was only dining on campus. Second year, since I moved out of campus, I chose not to have it. And Tucson is amazing in terms of food standpoint. You can get any cuisine you want at any point of the day. It's fantastic on that front.
Anuj, would you like to add?
I mean, it's in terms of international food market, I don't think there's a lot of diversity in on campus right now. But maybe I may be wrong because I came in the pandemic times. But you can still order things from Grubhub. There is Indian cuisines like barbecue, Shere Punjab. Then there's Indian oven. So I mean, you have options like those available to you as well. But if you're strictly on like a budget, if you're given like a really strict budget to Tucson, I would definitely recommend trying out cooking. It's really not that hard and it's not overwhelming, especially if you can manage your time well. So
Great, awesome. Since we are talking about food, I think Kunal or Anuj can take this. Will the dorms have their own canteens, or students can like dine in? Is the question.
no,
I don't really.
no, it's not exactly a can. I think Joanne kind of said this, that there are eateries. So there are these joints like Papa John's, Chick-fil-A, um, like different joints, and in these, and you get your own cat card. So you have your personal cat card, and with this cat card, you can deposit some amount of money using meal plan, and through this money, you'll get certain amount of, say, discount or tax-free food, depending on your meal plan. So that. I mean, the system is like that. There's no like specific canteen or where you will go swipe and get a meal. No, you select your own food and you manage your own funds.
Great. Okay. I think this is also for the boys probably. What is the roughly monthly budget if somebody is living off campus?
Sure. I moved off campus after my first year ended, so right about May of last year. And living off campus is sort of it's a broad range, right? Depends on the proximity you have to campus, on terms of what your rent budget is. So there are expensive places that can go up to 1,500 a month in rent, and there are cheaper places that can come down to like 500 a month in rent. Realistically, I'm somewhere in the middle of the two. And I am really comfortable with my space. Again, it's contingent on what kind of a place you're looking from a rent perspective, and then from a food perspective, it's about if you're cooking at home. When I was active and not lazy and was cooking at home, my budget was $100 a month in groceries. Now it's pumped up to 200, but yeah, I'm managing just fine. So it's variable, but there's flexibility in terms of how much money you're spending. Different from on campus for sure, where you're more limited to on campus dining options and the on campus rent.
Okay, great. And Kunal, how far do you live from campus?
I'm actually just a 5-minute walk away. I am south of campus, which is not convenient because it won't be convenient rather when I start with the Eller College, because Eller is north of campus. But to everything else on campus, I'm very close to.
Okay.
So I'm actually quite happy with the location I'm at.
Okay, great, amazing. Okay, so we're just going to take like maybe 2 more questions because guys, I think we are a little over time, and all of these people here, have committed specific time to this session, and we are very thankful for it. One question is, when do we need to pay the health insurance?
That will be due the first day of class. If you navigate the campus health, you can also opt, as well as tuition, for payment plan. For tuition payment plan, Bursar's office will charge you $75. It allows you to pay over 3 months, with first payment due first day of class, and then 1 month later, and then 1 month later. So it allows you to pay August, September, and October. Same with campus health. There is no charge to pay using the payment plan. And there's a form on their website if you want to do a payment plan, so that you don't have to pay the full amount on the first day of class. So once you get registered for classes, Campus Health will automatically place the insurance charge on your Bursar account. So you don't even need to sign up, it's automatic.
Okay, great. I think we took this question briefly, I do remember, but somebody wants to know, if they miss arriving on time, how can they make up for the classes? Can the same classes be attended remotely?
That's up to the instructor. You're going to have to contact, that's back to orientation and scheduling time with your academic advisor. Now, if it's a math class and then it's an English class, I would say English class will be the hardest to miss, because with English courses, if you miss certain number of classes, they'll drop you. So you'll want to consult with your academic advisor about how late you are arriving. And you'll need to fill out the form on our side as well if you're not arriving on time. So late arrival, that we'll need to approve. But you'll need to consult with your academic advisor and possibly faculty.
So guys, you all need to contact your academic advisors. Also, I don't see more questions. Somebody wants to know that she's not from India. Who can she contact? Ayusha, you can, definitely get in touch with Anju or me. I think Anju has already put in her details. So feel free to get in touch with either of us if you have more questions. Okay.
And sorry, just to add to it, and our office, International Student Services, provide services to all international students, regardless of the country where you come from.
Right, great. Thank you for putting that, Lina. So guys, any more questions? I do not see more questions in the chat box, and I think we've covered a whole lot of topics. Yeah, please tell me.
Sorry to interrupt. I just have a question. So should I ask it now, or should I message you?
Since you're unmute, just ask.
Okay, so is my CAT card accepted out of the university? Like, so is it a valid identity for me if I go outside the university or outside the state?
It depends for what. Your CAT card will not have your date of birth. So it's really meant for locally, but in terms of a true ID, you can get an Arizona ID card, you can get a driver's license, or carry your passport, which you would need to do once you leave the local area anyway. As an international student, you need to carry your passport when you leave the Tucson area.
Makes sense, but the reason is that taking passport with me is a bit risky. So that's the reason. Is there any alternative to passport, like as you said, driving license or something like any other identity? So it would be much better if I do not carry.
That's part of what we'll go through at orientation. Regulations require that students carry their passport. Not while in Tucson going to class, that type of thing, but we are near a border. And so as long as you're leaving the Tucson area, if you're going to San Diego or going to, El Paso, Texas, you absolutely have to carry your passport and your I-20 and your I-94. But, locally, you don't want to carry your passport. So you can get a driver's license or a Arizona ID card. but your CAT card does not have your date of birth and not considered as a valid.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Okay, great. I think we do not have more questions. Anju, do you think we should wrap up the session for today?
Sure, let's do that. Thanks a lot again to Joanne and Ludmila for sparing their early morning. And it was definitely a great session. I'm sure students learn a lot, and hopefully all their questions have been answered. If not, as we said, we are always there to help you out. So feel free to be in touch with us. And again, a very special thanks to Kunal and Anuj also for joining us, and to all the parents and students who are there with us this evening. So thanks again. A very happy journey to all of you to Tucson. And we hope to be in touch with you again sometime soon. So thanks again, everyone. Thanks, Apurva. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks, Ludmila. Have a great
Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to meeting you on campus.
Oh, great.
Definitely.
Likewise.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, students. All the best.
Okay.